Is XRP on the precipice of becoming the first trillion-dollar altcoin? Today, I'm going to show our listeners the data and analytics that lead me to believe not only is XRP going to be a trillion-dollar asset, it may even pass Bitcoin when all is said and done. Crypto ETFs, stablecoins, and of course, the Clarity Act happening inside the American markets. This leads me to believe we are about to see an influx of capital like we have never seen before for the XRP community. And whether you're here for $10 or $100 or even $1,000 XRP, we're going to show you the data and analytics on how the XRP project could get there and how long this may take during the 2026 bull market. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Good Evening Crypto, your favorite crypto news related channel. Just a quick reminder, smash that like button and subscribe to the brand new channel. Now, what I'm showing you right now is an update out of Dom and Phil from the EZA app. They developed an XRP market cap multiplier that showed us not only the order books for XRP, but what new liquidity could do for the price targets of our favorite project. Now, today, we are sitting at 176 billion in total market cap for XRP, but even with an influx of only $430 million, this could push the market cap north of 590 billion. Now, to give a little context here, a $17 XRP is what we would need for a $1 trillion market cap. So live chat, ones if you believe we see a $1 trillion market cap for XRP, twos in chat if you think that does not happen between now and the end of 2026. But let's break down the data as to how we could get there. Currently, there are 19 different XRP ETFs sitting at the SEC waiting for approval, and it's the largest companies in the American economy that are pushing this narrative forward. Franklin Templeton, which has 1.5 trillion in assets under management, Wisdom Tree, which has over 100 billion in assets, Grayscale, which is 40 billion, Bitwise, which is 5 billion, and nearly a dozen other major financial companies are beginning to launch the XRP ETFs. What are we waiting for? The final deadline on October 18th, 2025 will be the final date for the SEC to approve the Grayscale XRP spot ETF. And after this product is approved, we're anticipating that dozens of other projects will enter the American markets and millions of Americans will begin getting pitched the idea of owning XRP. Well, how much demand is actually sitting on the sidelines? According to JP Morgan, there is $8 billion worth of demand ready to move into the XRP project. But this narrative is much bigger than just ETFs. Ripple has been working to bridge traditional finance into the blockchain market, leveraging our favorite product, XRP. And this is what Austin King had to say on the matter. Most people don't understand that Ripple is positioning XRP for an entirely new phase. Having co-authored a protocol with Ripple CTO David Schwartz, this is Austin King's perspective on what's set to happen next. First, their stage of low strategy focused on offering fast, low-cost payments to acquire massive base of customers from traditional finance. Now having processed over $50 billion in Ripple payments, Ripple is entering the second stage of their plans for XRP. Ripple is now planning to leverage all of those customer connections in order to tokenize real-world assets. This will position the XRP ledger as the center of the on-chain economy by disrupting all of those assets across multiple chains. XRP is set to be the bridge. It is also set to bridge tokenized assets across multiple blockchains. Ondo Finance, HBAR, and Chainlink are already dominating in the tokenization space, and we are set to see the XRP ledger bridge liquidity in the way that we've been predicting for several years. And by being the bridge asset for all of these different tokenized assets, it's going to provide a new demand for the XRP token like we have never seen before. With 8 billion on the sidelines in ETFs and nearly 4 trillion on the sidelines for the stablecoin market, according to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, it is predicted that we could see $20 trillion worth of tokenized assets enter the blockchain economy by the year 2030. If XRP is the bridge for the majority of these tokenized assets, that is going to create trillions of dollars in new demand, leading us to price targets like $1,000 by the year 2030. And it's not just programs like ours that are seeing this exciting price action on the precipice here for XRP. It is also crypto analysts like Jay Claver and Dom and Phil from the EZA app.
People have been asking for my price targets on XRP. And I think it's the first time I'll say it, but I think XRP is heading to $1,000 by 2030. For me, it's, a super important project and actually probably one of the most important projects out there at the moment.
And with that $1,000 price prediction by the calendar year of 2030, the question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we get there? And we can clearly see a picture where the United States is becoming the crypto capital of the world and the largest United States-based digital asset in XRP, is going to be the leader when it comes to the evolution of finance. Austin continues by explaining that the fees from DeFi and tokenization could easily exceed transaction fees by 100 to 1,000%. This is what people are misunderstanding, and this is just the beginning for XRP. As Ripple steps into this next stage, what should we look out for? The tokenization of new assets and the expansion of those assets across multiple chains will be one of the key drivers of progress. Soon, his team at OMNI will be leading this initiative, but most importantly, this new demand is set to enter the market towards the back end of 2025. And with 19 different XRP ETF applications also being approved at the same time, people are anticipating more than $20 billion worth of demand, meaning new US dollars could enter the market cap for XRP. And by using this simple illustration that was created by Dom and Phil from the EZA app, we can see that only $10 billion in brand new demand for the XRP project could push the market cap north of $5.3 trillion, leading to over a $90 XRP when it comes to the cost per individual unit. Now, what we must figure out next is which companies are going to be leveraging the tokenization technology that Ripple can provide. That's what we'll go through during the next portion of this episode. Just a quick reminder, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button and subscribe as we do an update every single day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And this November, Ripple will be hosting a Ripple Swell event. And the companies that are going to be attending this event are at the top of the list when it comes to financial managers inside the United States. BlackRock, Fidelity, NASDAQ, and nearly half a dozen other multi-billion-dollar asset managers are flying into New York City in order to speak at Ripple Swell. Now, BlackRock is the prominent name that caught my attention here, as their director of digital assets, Maxwell Stein, is set to speak during the Ripple Swell event in November. And his main focus, the tokenization of real-world assets, will lead to an expansion of this technology in a way that we have never seen before. Every stock, every bond will be tokenized when it's all said and done. And that's not my opinion. That's the opinion of BlackRock CEO Larry Fink.
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities around bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we can customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual.
And this is just the beginning for not only blockchain technologies here inside the United States, but for the utility of these digital assets that we have been talking about for such a long time. Preventing these companies from just speculating on price, but instead having them leverage protocols like the XRP ledger, increase their modern settlement systems on a level that we've never seen before. Having instant settlement, having ownership rights, and being able to custody your digital assets in your own private wallet, these are ideas that the modern American isn't aware of, but only 5 or 10 years from now will be the main way that the average American stores their finances here inside the United States. And I believe that Larry Fink is not focused on launching an XRP ETF, but instead, he is focused on tokenizing trillions of dollars worth of stocks, bonds, and ownership rights onto public ledgers like the XRP blockchain in order to customize many of the effects that he just described. Now, to give a brief update in regards to the Ripple versus SEC case, the SEC's decision on his appeal is set to be expected by the August 15th deadline, according to several legal experts. Now, where the SEC is not legally obligated to drop its appeal by this date, the August 15th deadline is set for both parties to submit a joint status report to the appellate court. This report will likely indicate whether the SEC will proceed with its appeal or withdraw it, effectively ending the legal battle starting on August 15th. Ripple has already dismissed its cross appeal and paid the $125 million penalty. This indicates a desire to conclude these legal proceedings, but the SEC has not yet publicly withdrawn its appeal despite the expectations that it will follow Ripple's lead. The August 15th deadline serves as a date for the procedural checkpoint. The joint status report is required by this date and will likely reveal the SEC's decision. And with the SEC court case ending, my belief is we are going to see an influx of new capital from Wall Street like we have been predicting here since the inception of this lawsuit back in 2021. Crypto analyst Mark Fagel commented on Twitter, "It's about 100% certain that neither party, nor the SEC or Ripple, has any interest in pursuing its respective appeal. And at this point, neither party has filed the papers to dismiss the appeal. They will likely do this jointly once the SEC approves. And like I just stated, that is set to occur on August 15th, 2025, only 10 days from today. And with all of these positive catalysts beginning to hit the American markets, it's publishers like USA Today that are already shifting their tone on XRP. Over this weekend, they published an article titled, XRP is the smartest cryptocurrency to buy with $500 right now. XRP is demonstrating its long-term growth potential, and its main selling point is the focus on real-world utility. After these markets become regulated and the Clarity Act is passed here in the US, we are going to see the utility market kick off inside the United States. And whether it's $1 trillion in ETFs, $4 trillion in stablecoins, $20 trillion in tokenized assets, or $100 trillion in modern settlement systems, we are looking at the great shift and the great wealth generation event that we've been predicting since the inception of this asset class. Modern settlement systems going through an upgrade, Wall Street 2.0 coming into effect, and real-world assets being minted and tokenized on the XRP ledger. These are the articles that we've been waiting for the better half of a decade. And it's why I believe we are set to see price targets far higher than the regular XRP investor is anticipating. $10, $20, $50. These may seem like drops in a bucket when all is said and done. Today, Bitcoin is sitting at $2.2 trillion in total market cap, where XRP is sitting at a $181 billion market cap. This means that the XRP market cap could do a 10x in value and still be below the price of Bitcoin. That screams opportunity for the average investor looking for the highest return on investment and not just making an effort to preserve their wealth during these crypto bull markets. It also points out the fact that when the utility market kicks off, Bitcoin will lose its biggest advantage in the crypto space. Not only can stablecoins not be launched on Bitcoin, you are not able to tokenize real-world assets on Bitcoin's blockchain either. So when these mainstream narratives start hitting the masses like we've been predicting, it is the XRP ledger, the Hedera blockchain, the Stellar blockchain that are going to be able to capitalize on these new narratives. And whether it's $8 billion in new demand from the ETFs alone or $20 trillion entering the crypto markets through tokenizing assets, it is absolutely clear through this XRP market cap multiplier that a $10, $15, or even $100 price target is written in the cards for the XRP community. And we'll go through the data just one more time here. Back in November of 2024, we watched the XRP price chart go from 50 cents in value to over $2.85 in value. That was over $100 billion increase in the total market cap. And we know for certain that $100 billion did not flow into the XRP project. It was the XRP order books and the supply on exchanges that allowed for that dramatic price appreciation. And with just 150 million new US dollars, according to the calculations here, we could see a market cap for XRP near $300 billion. That would be a $5 XRP. If the market cap continues to increase and we reach 430 million in new inflows, we are looking at a $600 billion market cap for XRP. If we see 2 billion in inflows, we are looking at a $2 trillion market cap. And if we see the full 10 billion, we are looking at a $5.3 trillion market cap for XRP, leading us to over $90 per token. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe to the brand new channel, and leave your 2025 peak price projection underneath the video. We'll see you all in the next one.